All right, Capricorn, I'm Brian with Arrows of Love. Welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, if you like these videos and would like to see more of them, please click that like button and subscribe. It helps the channel and it's very much appreciated from me. All right, so we're going to do your May 2021 Love Tarot and Astrology reading, Capricorn. And we're going to start with where the sun is at because it's sitting in Taurus. And Taurus is your fifth house of romance, fun. It's a pleasurable house. It's all about karmic rewards. It also represents children. So some of you might be looking at having a baby, or maybe you just start a new romance. Today, May 11th, is also a new moon in Taurus. And the moon is exalted in Taurus. And it's a renewal of the cycle of this fifth house of fun, leisure, romance, and children, generally speaking. Capricorn, you tend to be a very hardworking sign. I'm a Capricorn sun. I have 4 planets sitting in Capricorn, so we're constantly busy trying to obtain our goals and busy with work, but sometimes it's good to let work go and do some things that you enjoy more. So that's the energy happening right now. Again, that new moon is going to continue this cycle for the next 30 days. So, have fun, go out there. If you're single, it's time to put yourself out there on dating apps. Things are reopening again. Time to go out and date. If you're in a partnership, maybe you're looking at having children. Maybe you're looking to respark the romance in your life, in your relationship. So the fifth house is very much a pleasurable house. Mercury, this is what is on your mind. It's also business savvy. It is in Gemini and it's at home in Gemini. Venus is over here as well. And we're going to go through a Mercury retrograde period at the end of the month. Mercury is going to station direct at 24 degrees of Gemini, and then it's going to appear at least to be moving backwards until it hits about 16 degrees of Gemini. So it's about a 3-week period, May 30th through June 22nd. Mercury retrograde periods are always a time of redo, review, realign, readjust. It's things that we have to redo over and over again. So Mercury is kind of a trickster that way. Mercury in Gemini, again, this is about learning. It's about communication. It's about short distance travel, technology. So all of these things could come up over the next about a month or two. It's not going to be an easy one. I mean, Mercury rules Gemini, and our thoughts are going to be all over the place. This points to overthinking, mental tension. It points to delays in traffic, problems with traveling, potentially problems with your siblings. But for you, this is your 6th house, Capricorn. So Gemini is 6 times past Capricorn. The 6th house has to do with work, work, routine, health, your daily life. It's the mundane things of life. It can also point to service. So things could be changing on that front. Things could be a little bit hectic on the work front. Maybe you're looking at your health routine and deciding to review your diet and your exercise over this course of time. The 6th house is complicated though, and this could point to disease. This can also point to slavery and bondage, things you're a slave to, things you're bound to. It's not an easy house, to be quite frank. So the easiest way to get through this is to take the energy out with exercise and making sure you're getting it out of the body, because there's going to be a lot of mental tension with this particular Mercury retrograde. The other big news this week is Jupiter, the planet of expansion, growth, spirituality, the law, and karma is moving into its ancient ruler of Pisces. It is moving out of Aquarius on May 13th, and it's going to be in Pisces until July 28th, until it retrogrades back into Aquarius. And for you, Capricorn, Pisces is your 3rd house. It is 3 signs past Capricorn. This is a busy house. This is a house of communication. It's a house of short distance travel, learning, advertising and marketing, siblings. It's the busy house. It's the things that rule your day-to-day life and local communities. So it's good for expanding with writing, anything putting yourself out there with promotion. It's great for brushing up on any type of technology, making technology upgrades in the home. And it's also great for spiritual growth too. So Pisces is a very spiritual sign. It might be the most intuitive of the entire zodiac. It's up there with Cancer. And basically, your communication might be just taking a more empathetic, compassionate level. Your speech might slow down, for instance. It's more about the reflective, compassionate attitude in speech. So those are major themes for you. Capricorn, like I said, Jupiter will be in this section of your chart from May 13th through July 28th, and it's going to retrograde back into your second house of money, income, value, resources for the rest of the year, 2021, until it moves back into Pisces in 2022. So those are the general themes, but it's great for communication, marketing, selling, anything with technology. So put yourself out there. There's something good that could very well come of it. Mars, planet of action, assertiveness, fertility, it can also be a little bit of aggressive, is in Cancer. It's in its fall position, and that is in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships, legal contracts, and marriages. So, Mars in Cancer can point to issues in family, because Cancer rules the family. It could point to issues with women generally speaking, or possibly with the motherhood, reproduction. So when it's in its fall, there might be some challenges regarding those particular themes. Maybe you're, but Mars is also a planet of virility. So virility in the 7th house could very well mean children. Some of you just might be getting it on. So there's some good things in there as well overall with Mars in Cancer, but it can point to some tension with your one-on-one relationships. And Mars is going to be there until June 11th, until it moves into Leo in your 8th house, which is a very different type of energy. But right before Mars leaves Cancer, it's going to be making a opposition to alchemical Pluto, transformative Pluto, in your 1st house. So watch for major power dynamics with one-on-one relationships around May 11th. There could be some explosive arguments during that time with loved ones, with family, with partnerships. It's really important for you to make sure that you're being, you don't want to be stone cold here, Capricorn. You can be the ice king or queen when it comes to emotion, but this is definitely going to trigger some emotional things for you. So it's very important for you to be emotionally wise, take your time, think things through, don't be impulsive. You're usually not anyway, you like to think things through, but that could be an explosive day. So power dynamics in the air. We're also coming up to eclipse season, and eclipse season is always a time of change. So it's just the way eclipses work. The eclipses are happening on that Gemini-Sagittarius axis. Gemini is your 6th house of work, health, routine, day-to-day affairs, the mundane affairs of life. And then your 12th house are things not seen. So a lunar eclipse, which is essentially a full moon on steroids, is going to occur in Sagittarius on May 26th. And that is in your 12th house of what's happening in the subconscious, spirituality, endings. It could also point to Sag is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is now going to be in Pisces in that 3rd house of communication. So unexpected communication is likely to come up around that full moon. And the 12th house could be anything. It's the house reserved to the universe to correct wrongs, to correct any karmic justice. So things could come out of left field. It could be very good things. It could also be difficult things. It's kind of the nature of the 12th house and the 6th house. They're not great houses, to be quite honest. So Capricorn, the best thing and you've been through a lot. 2020 was not an easy year for you, especially with Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all sitting in your 1st house. And now you're going to be going through these eclipses on kind of a difficult angle. So it's the cleanup. Think of it this way. It's anything that needs to go, that's not working, anything that's happening on that subconscious level that isn't producing 100% Capricorn, and you know what that will mean if you're not completely on Team Capricorn. It's got to go, period. That's just the way this is going to work. And you could very well have some shakeups happening on the job front. Could be anything happening with health. But it's going to be things that you don't necessarily see coming because it's all happening in that 12th house, and the 12th house is a hidden house. So be aware of this. It's just the nature of the beast. One other thing I want to mention with the Mercury retrograde, I want to go back, and again, that's happening June 30th through June 22nd. When Mercury is going to go retrograde, right when it's about to hit retrograde, it's going to be making a square over to nebulous Neptune in Pisces. And again, that's your communication sector. Mercury is the messenger planet. Whenever Mercury and Neptune are in a square, this can point to some disillusionment, even some hidden motives, some lying. So you need to be very on guard for things that don't meet the smell test, or people trying to pull the wool over your eyes, because there's this element of deception in the air whenever Neptune's making the square over to Mercury. So I want you to be aware of that too, and that will happen right around the 30th of May. So overall, not a ton happening. Well, actually, you have a lot happening in your romance houses. You have that new moon, so that's great for romance, starting new things, starting a new pleasurable cycle. You have Mars sitting in Cancer in that 7th house of partnerships. So maybe, again, but it's in its fall position here. So things could be a little strained with partnerships right now. Maybe, or maybe it's really hot right now because Mars is also your sex drive, but maybe things are just kind of stagnant. So, but don't worry, Mars will move out of Cancer into Leo, which is much more fun house for you. Capricorn toward mid-June. So that's what's happening in the sky. Let's review what's happening with love. These are general readings, keep that in mind. So these messages will not resonate with all of you. Take a look at your ascendant, moon, and Venus signs. Sometimes those will resonate more with you depending on what's happening in your natal chart. So I'm going to pull one card from the Angel's Oracle for the general overall energy, 3 cards from the Tarot for you, 3 cards for them. This is for Capricorn. Time for you to take a break, Capricorn, from work. It's time for you to enjoy the child within. Get yourself out there. Weather is starting to get nicer out. We're moving through spring, coming up to summer. So, this is a good time for you to take a break. I know you've been working hard. Right. Capricorn. Let's see what's happening in love. Here we go. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Mars in Cancer. This could be an ex-partner, an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. Could also be family members. That new moon in Taurus, an old love, an old fling. We'll see. All right, 3 cards for you, 3 cards for them, Capricorn. 7 of Wands. Justice. That came out for Pisces. Knight of Swords. Okay. This is for them. 5 of Pentacles. King of Swords. A lot of swords energy here. A lot of thoughts. Page of Swords. Wow, a lot of thought energy. Like I said, Mercury is moving through Gemini. Gemini rules thoughts. It's communication. Communication is going to be funky during this retrograde period. Jupiter's moving into your communication sector in the 3rd on May 13th, 2 days from now. So communications could be coming in wildly. Things from the past. Maybe there's a reconciliation. So let's go into it. It likely did not end well. Okay, so there was some battling happening here, Capricorn. The 7 of Wands is a battle card. It's the man battling off his enemies. Maybe you had competition in love and you didn't win this one, or maybe you decided to go to someone else. It definitely has an element of battle in here, so maybe things didn't necessarily end on a great note. And there was some karmic justice being served, or it's going to be served, because justice is all about that rebalancing of relationships. Could be dealing with a Libra. There's not a lot of Libran energy in the air right now. Venus does rule Libra, and Libra, Venus right now is sitting in that 6th house of work routine, mundane affairs. But you could be dealing with a Libra, but this points to rebalance. This points to you rebalancing. This is pointing to you swinging the sword of justice and saying, I'm not putting up with this crap, basically. And this is the energy that I'm getting from the past situation. And they were impulsive. They may have came in quick and they may have left very quick. The Knight of Swords can be very impulsive. Or maybe you were impulsive during this and you decided this just isn't for me. And I'm going to make a very quick exit. But there was definitely some tumultuous events with this. But they're looking for a reconciliation. You left them out in the cold. Ice King and Queen, you have this tendency to do this, Capricorn, where you just cut people off. When you're done, you're done. And you left them out in the cold. There hasn't been communication for a while. If you're in a relationship, this could have been an argument that really stuck with you. And maybe you decided to put it off, and maybe you were working on things, working on that rebalance, right, with this Justice card. But it's still sitting out there. The situation hasn't dissipated just quite yet, but you left them in the cold and you told them exactly where they stood. That is classic Capricorn. And right now, they're getting it together. They're projecting the King of Swords energy. So this is a little bit more mature. They've collected their thoughts. They've assessed the situation on the rational side, taking emotion out of it. And now they're wanting to make a decision. It could be, if you're single and this is a person from the past, this could be a simple hello, how are you doing? You know, a text message of sorts. This is, you know, swords are also communication. But it's very much not something where you're going to get a bubbly like, hello, I miss you. How are you doing? I've been dying to see you. It's going to be very simple, like, hey, how's it going? How have you been? It's less emotional this time around. It's more rational this time around. You're going to be getting this communication soon, probably around this Mercury retrograde phase if you're single. Page of Swords, messages. They want to talk. They want to see how you're doing. There's something here that needs to be reassessed, needs to be reworked. Mercury retrograde is about review. Venus in 2020 went retrograde in the same area of your chart. So think about what was happening last summer. If you were seeing someone, if you're in a partnership, if things got kind of rocky, you might be reviewing those themes that happened last summer, again with this Mercury retrograde, because it's happening in the same area. It looked like something that really got you going, though. So will this come of, what's going to come of this? Let's pull another card for the outcome. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. They want to come back. They want to give you an offer that you can't refuse. If you're in a partnership, they want to resolve this and have the happy family, happy home. This could be dealing with something with finance too. This also has something to do with work. Remember, this is happening, Mercury retrograde is happening in the work sector. But 10 of Pentacles is very much happy family, happy home, resource abundance. They want to give it, they want to come back and try something out with you. No doubt. Will you give it to them, Capricorn? Is this workable? There were some tumultuous things that were happening here before. You left them out in the cold, but they're coming back. They want to know. Are you going to give it to them? Great reading, Capricorn. Let me know how this all turns out for you. I'm interested to know because I'm a Capricorn sun too. So we'll see how this all shakes out in the end. Until next time, Capricorn, take care, and we'll talk to you next month. See ya.